Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude and Ralfs Photo Flight. You see, the weather is fine, the sun is shining, blue sky, so we can start our first flight of the Yuneec Q500. In my first video I explained to you everything you need before the first start, and so I hope your batteries are charged, the micro SD card is in the camera, and so we can start now. You see, I have these prop guards here because I checked that the props are very thin, and when you scratch them at the wooden wall or the wall, they may break a little bit, so I protect them with my own custom-made prop guards. And so they give us a little bit more security. First of all, please remove the protector of the gimbal. That's very important. That's the first point, and then we can make our first flight. When you look for a start place of the Q500, look for a leveled place where the copter is almost leveled, and where the surface, like this grass, is not too high, so that the copter and the propellers are clear. And you should look for a place where there's no sand or loose gravel, so when the copter starts there are no stones which can move up in the propellers and destroy the propellers. That's also important. Next thing, if you want to use a thing which you lay on the surface, this one shouldn't be too light, because when you start the copter, it could happen when this part is too light that it blows up and blows in the copter, and so it's a good idea to use something which is a little bit more heavy, like a mat out of the car or something like this, out of rubber, which is a little bit more heavy, so when the copter starts it's still on the floor and doesn't get blown into the propellers of the copter. Next point, the camera here in front of the Q500 should point away from you. So I will start from this point at the camera, where the camera is, so the camera of the copter should point away from me. And now we remove the prop guards and we can start to our first flight. So you find a place for the copter, and before we power on the copter we start the remote control. Here we have the switch, put this one up, and now the remote control starts. This is an Android system, so it takes a second before the remote is ready. You see that there are, first of all you hear the sound, and then you see some in the display that the remote control tries to connect to the RC and to the video signal, and then after some seconds you will see that these two lights, the Wi-Fi connection sign and the satellite sign, flash blue, and that's the point when the remote control is ready, and then we can start the copter. So it takes some seconds till the copter starts. We have different light signals, which I explain a little bit later when we make our first start. And now the copter and the remote control connect to each other. We see in the display remote control completed, video Wi-Fi connecting, and when they are connected we see the picture of the camera here on the display, and so the connection between the remote control and the copter is ready. The display says welcome pilot, and that's the point where we can make our first flight. But before, we have to make the compass calibration. Copter and remote control are ready. Both is connected and now we can start, but before we have to make a compass calibration. A compass calibration is necessary if you start the copter the first time, or if the last start place is far away from the actual start place. Like in the holidays, when you travel some 100 miles or kilometers, you have to make a compass calibration because you start at a different place where your last start was. To make a compass calibration, on the right side of the remote control there is a dial which shows a turtle and a rabbit, and you move this switch up to the rabbit point and then take the left stick of the remote control, move it to the left side and toggle the right switch several times, and then the copter goes in the calibration mode. It says also here in the display Mach calibration, so you know this will be the point to start. Take the copter, point it to the north direction and then turn it 360, 45, 360, 45, 360, 45, and the last time 360, and then hold the copter stable, and that's it. So the calibration was okay, the copter starts again. Remote control and copter are connected. We did the compass calibration, now we can start. We have to do some settings at the remote control. First of all, the position for the camera, I would suggest to put it in the middle here, and on the other side we have the turtle and rabbit, and I would suggest to put this switch also in the middle position. Then we have at the right side the switch with three different positions. That's the home position, the angel position and the smart position. Home is sure we don't need the home now, because home position means the copter comes back to our start point automatically. So we have to decide between the smart and the angel position. I would suggest to use the angel position, even if it's in the manual they say use the smart position. I would suggest to use the angel position, because when you start flying you have to learn how the copter direction is and how to work with the remote control. And so in my opinion, use the angel mode. I will show you in the flight later how the angel mode works, so please switch the remote control to the angel mode. If it's now to the smart mode, you see the green light at the backside of the copter. When we turn now to the angel mode, you will see the purple light at the copter, and that's absolutely right. Now we can start the motor just by pressing the start-stop button for about 3 seconds. Now the propeller starts. Please have a look if they work perfect. Stay clear from everything on the ground and rotate perfectly simultaneously, and then we can start. Move the left stick upwards slowly, and then you will see the copter starts. Okay, the copter is in the air, we did the start, and now when you pull the right stick forward, the copter flies slowly forward. Exactly the same when you pull the stick backwards, the copter flies backwards. Move the right stick to the right side, the copter goes to the right side. Move it to the left side and the copter goes to the left side. Do this very slowly. Control the copter. If it's too fast for you, if the copter reacts too fast for you, turn the side dial to the turtle mode, and so the copter reacts a little bit slower to your sticks. If you move the left stick upwards, the copter goes up. If you move it downwards, the copter goes down. So, as I said, in the angel mode, the copter points in this direction, camera away from you, and the copter reacts exactly like on the remote control the stick works. Now we turn the copter. Move the left stick to the left side and you will see that the copter turns slowly around to the left side, and you stop the maneuver when the camera shows in your direction. Now what happens when we move the right stick backwards? The copter flies away from us, because in the situation of the copter, the backside shows away from you, so we move the stick away from us, the copter flies backwards. We move the stick up, the copter flies forward, so in our direction. And now comes the thing where we have to learn to work with. When we move the stick to the right side, the copter flies from his situation to the right side, but from our position he flies to the left side. And exactly the same when we move the stick to the left side, the copter flies from his direction to the left side, from our position to the right side. When we turn the copter now a little bit, the camera shows now to the left side. When we fly forward now, the copter flies from his position forward, from our position to the left side. Exactly the same when we fly back, the copter flies back and from our position to the right side. So that's what we have to learn when we fly in the angel mode. We have to learn in which direction shows the camera of the copter, and this is the direction which is forward. So when you turn the copter, and the camera shows to the right side, we fly forward to the right side. So that's what you have to learn. You have to work slowly with the copter, and if you lost the directions, stop, let the remote control loose so the copter can stay in the air, get the orientation. You also have the camera picture here, and then turn the copter slowly in the direction so that the camera points away from you, and then you're on the safe side, because then left goes left, right goes right, back to you and forward away from you. So these are the first maneuvers you make, and make them slowly. Take a look on the copter, take a look how the copter reacts, and as I said before, move the dial here to the turtle position, and then it goes a little bit slower and not so fast. Now you have done your first experiences during the flight, and now we can make the landing. I would suggest to point the camera away from you so that you have the remote control in the way you hold it, left, left, right, right, and back, back. So then you let the copter fly a little bit towards you. Move the left stick downward so the copter goes a little bit lower. Look for a good place to land. Take the position. Move the stick down. Press the start-stop button for a second. And that's it. So, this was your first flight with the Q500. Very important. Stay cool, be patient, make the first maneuvers very slow, don't fly too fast, don't fly too far away from you. So you see the copter all the time, you see the directions of the copter, and you see in which direction the camera point, and make slow maneuvers. If you get lost, lose the sticks of the remote control, wait a second, have a look to the copter, and that's it. And so you learn how to fly. Well, that was your first flight. In one of my next YouTube tutorials, you will see how the different flight mode works, and how to use the home mode, and how to make smooth flight with video and photography. For sure, you can take photos during your first flight, and you can make a video at your first flight by just pressing one of these two buttons. But I would suggest that you fly first without video or photo, so you can learn enough about the copter. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, give me a like here, subscribe to my channel, and as always I say thanks and bye bye.